Hello and welcome back to Lord Fenton Gaming Plays Baldur's Gate 3. I'm your host Lord Fenton. In this Baldur's Gate 3 build video, we're building up the Pure Giant Barbarian. As always, everyone like, comment, and subscribe to my channel for more Baldur's Gate 3 videos like this. Do not forget to hit that notification bell so be updated and much more. Here are the pros and cons of this build. So, pros, obviously, you can be one monster melee character. Number two, later on in this build, you can have elemental damage. You get to select which elemental damage. Number three, because you have high strength, you'll be able to throw things, use even enemies as improvised weapons, which is very good. Also, you got that rage, which is very nice. Con of this build, the only few things I could say is you're not a range character, so you don't have to let someone like Gale or Str OR Con deal with the range stuff. And that elemental damage, that comes later on. So, yeah, the build will really shine after you get that. I'm going to go ahead at this very time start the character creation process. Now, before I actually go over the races, I'm going to go over the origins. So, this will work perfectly for exactly 3 origins. Number one is obviously your custom origin. That's your own custom character, your own story. So there you go. Number 2, Karlach's origin. Yep, our Barbarian. It works well with her. Really well. Sorry I'm excited, but I tried this out with her and she's great. And the Dark Urge as well works perfect with that. Yeah, so if you want to feel a little bit evil, yeah, you don't resist the urge. That's all I'm going to say. Okay, now races actually. I'm going to go ahead and begin. I'm going to begin with the elves. So here's the deal about the elves. There's some racial features or race features. Basic racial speed. You can move up to 9 meters per turn. This is real good. Now, elven weapon training. You are proficient in longsword, short bows, and long bows. So basically swords and bows, which is cool. Dark vision. You can see up to 12 meters in the dark. So he's one of the few races in the game that does that, which is nice. And last but not least, you have advantages on saving throws against being charmed, and magic cannot put you to sleep. There's a potion that will put you to sleep, but if it does work, it's like a full rest. So yeah, it's a very good advantage there. Now, only sub-race I suggest for this build for the elves is Wood Elf. Reason being is your movement speed gets increased by 1.5 meters. So it's like 10.5 meters you get instead of the 9. And then that is really nice. So the next race is Tieflings. Now Tieflings, same as the other races, get the 9 meters per turn, which is good. Then like the elves, they get dark vision, see up to 12 meters in the dark, which is really nice indeed, folks. You want that. And hellish resistance, you have resistance to fire damage and only take half of the damage from that type of damage. So you're very resistant in fire. Early on, it's great. Some parts of the game, they'll kick in as well, too. Only one I suggest for this one is Zariel Tieflings. To the fact you get this one, so this way you could use it twice on your intimidation and performance checks, mainly intimidation. This way you want to force someone to do something for you, which is good. Now, next up, I'm going to go ahead and go over for the races are humans. So they get the base racial speed, 9 meters per turn, which is good. Now they get weapon and armor proficiencies will move there, which is civil militia. That means that spears, pikes, halberds, and glaives. Armor, they get light armor and shields. Even if they pick class, they don't use it. Well, they get to pick that, which is good. And the other one, human versatility. They get an extra skill to choose from. In fact, if you're a human with this build, you get to pick one that you want. So let's go over the skills, and that means you see the human side. You get to pick the ones you normally don't pick. So you can pick sleight of hands, stealth, arcana, and acrobats. Acrobats is a good one, but still you get the point. You get to pick what you want to pick. If you're a human, that's like an extra leg up there. So I'm just showing you that as an example. So there you go. See, we pick acrobatics, so you will get +3 in that. Now, next up is to get the Yankee. This is an underdog race, but it has so much good things. Now, first of all, there are actions. Let me go over that. Okay, I'm just going to... There you go. Gain proficiency in all skills of a chosen ability. So you pop this sucker, you want strength, and then boom, it lasts until long rest. So anything you do with strength, that'll be great. Get Yankee Psionic. Mage Hand, something too far, you pull it down. Also, they get teleport later on. You can teleport to your foes and beat the living crap out of them. Yeah, just trust me, I played a few Gith Yankees. Base racial speed, you move more 9 meters per turn, just like the other races, which is good. And they get also, let's see here, short swords, long swords, and great swords for weapon proficiency. Armor is light and medium armor, even if that class doesn't allow it. So you get advantage in that. So it's very nice, though, for that race. Next race are the Dwarven races. Now, their movement speed is 7.5 meters, since in fact they're a shorter race, but that's all right. Big things sometimes come in small packages, and they kick some serious butt. Just trust me on that. They get proficiencies in the following type of weapons, basically axes and hammers. Yep, traditional dwarf, which is good. They also get to see 12 meters in the dark, so it's another one of those few races in the game you can actually see in the dark, which is great. Here's another good thing. Dwarven resilience, you have advantages on saving throws against poison and resistance to poison damage. So you take poison damage, you take a little bit less than the other races if you get poison. And you resist that stuff, which is good. Now, I picked 2 Dwarven races. I felt like that's a good idea. Go Dwarves. You go with that, your hit points maximum increase by 1, and increases 1 extra hit point every level. So you get 12 extra hit points there. And especially a Barbarian, that is some good stuff. They have the highest hit points they can get in the entire game. And the other one I like better is the Grey Dwarves. So their dark vision is, instead of 12 meters, they get 24 meters due to the fact they live in the Underdark so long. So they can see extra stuff in the dark. And there's no sunlight penalties at all in this game. And their resistance is they have against illusions and also against being charmed and paralyzed. So early on, charm and paralyzed is a pain in the butt, but you get advantage on that. So good race for that. Or I'd say more like sub-race, but you get the point. So let's move on to the next one. Okay, where's it at? That is a half-elf. Okay, both sides of their parents, they get is 9 meters per turn movement speed, better than the dwarves, halflings, and of course gnomes. Just saying. They get their human side, which is of course spears, pikes, halberds, glaives, light armor, and shields, even if their class don't use it. Dark vision, like the elven side, they get 12 meters they can see in the dark. Also from their elven side is they get advantage on saving throws against being charmed and cannot be magically put to sleep, just like the other one on the elves. So this is good. Now, one half-elf race I like the most is Wood Elf. The fact you get extra 1.5 movement speed. More likely to move close to your foes in case they start to be a runner and you can run them down with your axe or sword. Or a nice two-handed hammer. Half-orc, last raise. Move 9 movement speed per turn. And that's very good for them. Here's more. Also, they get to see in the dark. So that's about 12 meters in the dark. There you go. Which is really nice. Here's another thing I do like about this race, which is good. When they're down 0 hit points, once per long rest, they get 1 hit point back instead of being down. They're ready to get some revenge. Another thing I'm going to go ahead and point out, this is a good one too. There you go. When you land a critical hit with a melee weapon, you deal an extra dice of weapon damage. So if it's a critical hit, you deal with a long sword, it's 1d8 of extra damage, which is very good, everyone. And that's about it for races. So what's in store for you for this class? You get to rage up, you get kick some serious booty in battle, and yeah, nothing stops you. You're a frontline beast. So let's go ahead and select that. That's what you're here for. Rage. You do 2 extra damage with melee and improvised weapons and throwing. So you grab a goblin, use it as a weapon, you do extra damage with that. You do extra damage while you enrage. Also with melee weapons, gain resistance to physical damage, advantages on strength checks, and saving throws. So if you need to push someone over the edge, then that's it there. That's very good. Now, bad side about rage is if you don't do damage or you don't take damage, rage ends. You cannot cast or concentrate on spells while raging. So if you're multi-class on that, just be careful. Just give me a heads up on that, of course. Another feature I'm going to go ahead and show, which is good and also coincides with this build, is this. Unarmored defense. While not wearing armor, you add your constitution modifier to your armor class. Now, if you wear heavy armor, it'll impede your rage, so no heavy armor because we're not going to do that with this build. That's about it for that. Now for backgrounds, there's only two I suggest: Outlander and Soldier. Outlander gives you athletics and survival, which is good for this build, but the one I like to use better is athletics and intimidation. And you get a lot more inspirational points throughout the story because you're a soldier. So either one of those are due. I suggest Soldier though. For your ability scores, first of all, your +2 should go to Strength. And then the other one, +1, should go to Constitution. That's your secondary stat. So I'm just going to even things up just to show you where I'm going. Now, Strength, we're going to get to 16 and stop there. We're not doing 17. We're using other methods to get Strength. This build will show you exactly on how to pull that off. So there, I'm going to go ahead and just show you that. That's going to be the main bread and butter for this build. Dexterity, we're going to keep at 14. That'll give a little bit edge on armor class and anything else that's related to dexterity skills and such. So we'll keep it there too. Now for Constitution, that is 16. Well, let me go ahead and put it there. I just got to take 2 points out. There you go. So 16 for that. That'll be our stat. We'll keep at 16. More hit points. More Constitution saving throws we have advantages with. And such. Also, because of the Constitution modifiers +2, we get extra armor class. Intelligence I keep at 8. That's going to be our weakness there. Wisdom is 10 average. That's going to help us out greatly through the story as well too. And Charisma at 10 too. So in final, let's go ahead and review that. Strength and Constitution 16. Focusing on Strength when we level up later on. Dexterity 14. Intelligence 8. Wisdom and Charisma at 10 apiece. So next up, everyone, we're going to talk about are the skills. Now, my suggestion of skills list you're going to want to do is Intimidation, Athletics. That's your number 1, 2 choice there. Or I did Soldier, so there you go. If you don't have one, pick the other. Perception, that's the way to go. And then Survival. So those are the best I could deal with for the Barbarian class. If they had Athletics, or if you're a human, definitely pick Athletics as your third skill to choose from. Which is very good, because your third best stat is Dexterity, and will help you out greatly. So we'll keep that there. And that's about it from creating your character at level 1. So this next part of this build video we're going to do is level 2 to 12 as a pure giant barbarian. So let's go ahead, everyone, and do that at this very moment. Now we'll go ahead and level up to level 2. So if you decide to do, like for instance, change Karlach into this type of barbarian, go visit Withers, and then of course just reallocate your stats and then level up. So here we go, ding, level 2. We're still the base barbarian class, and we get some new stuff. Danger sense, you sense when things aren't as they should be. You have advantage and on dexterity saving throws against traps, spells, and surfaces. Now, to gain this benefit, you cannot be blinded or incapacitated. So since we have good dexterity, we have a little advantage on that. Reckless attack. So when you're in rage, you do a 10 to 22 damage. You have advantages on attack rolls. Enemies have advantage against you as well. So it's a daredevil type of thing. So we're at level 3. So we get to change our subclasses. So let's go ahead and do that now. Here's our race stuff. And let me go ahead and get down there. Oh, there you go, and I'll go over it. There we go, and now let's go over each. We get more hit points, more raging. So this one here, your carry capacity is increased by 1/4, so you get to carry more things. So there's advantage right there. Forgot to mention that. Giant's Rage. When you enter a rage, you increase in size. Your rage damage bonus is double on throw attacks and improvised throwing. As well too, you gain resistance to physical damage and advantages on strength checks and saving throws. Same thing as the other rage rules. You don't do damage, enemies don't damage you. It ends, and you can't cast spells and such. And you get the this one here. So you get advantages on intimidation and performance checks, and you get your racial abilities as well too. In my case, for her, more smiting power. So that's about it for this level, and let's level up to 4. So let's go ahead and do that at this very moment. Now we're at level 4, so every level of 4, you get yourself a free feat, as long as you're in the same class. So let's go ahead and do this. Let's see here. Let's go ahead and look for it. There's 2 options you want to do. Great weapon master. So this does is when you land a critical hit or kill a target with a melee weapon, you get the free attack. Basically, that's what it is. It's as if it's a bonus action. So as long as you don't use any bonus actions, you get the attack again. So if you do 2 attacks, special level 5, kill someone or get a critical hit, you do it again for a 3rd time. Your melee attack bonus, in other words, attack rolls is -5. There's items out there later on that will boost 7. Plus your attack rolls go up naturally as well too as you level up. So little hindrance now, later on not so much. Melee damage bonus is +10, so you add +10 bonus with heavy melee weapons. This build's going to be using those type of weapons. Now, you don't like that. Here's another one I decided to pick for those you don't like that penalty. Savage Attacker. When you make a melee weapon attack, it'll roll 2 dice. It'll take the best out of the 2. So if one's a critical hit, it'll take that one. If one's not, like a 1, it won't take that. Ding, level 5. And we get some good things. We get an extra attack at level 5. This is important for this build, so there you go. Instead of 1 attack per round, you get 2, which is very nice. And another thing we do get, I'm going to keep that there for a little bit. Let y'all stare at it. Fast movement. Movement speed increased by 3 meters while not wearing heavy armor. We're going to be wearing cloth in this build. And Boots of the Giant. So, when you try to kick a foe away, your chances depends on the athletics and if it's higher, if you're hidden or invisible. So you kick a foe while you're invisible or hidden, you do more damage. You kick them off a ledge, you can say this is Faerun, and you can kick up to twice your weight of your target, which is good. And there you go. There's our racial abilities we get. So let's move on. Ding! Level 6. Now we're halfway through, so we get another rage, so we get to use our giant rage more, so that is very good. Now this one is a showstopper. This does is until your rage ends, your weapon will deal additional elemental damage, which is acid, cold, fire, lightning, and thunder. And gain thrown properties if thrown, just like a Jedi lightsaber. It hits your target with weapon damage and comes back to you. Very powerful stuff. I do mean really, really powerful stuff. You'll see it throughout the build video later on. Now, next up is Barbarian level 7. Now, this is what we get. You have honed your initiative to the utmost danger. You gain a +5 bonus to initiatives and cannot be surprised. So, those initiative potions, you don't have to drink them no more. So here's the deal. Level 8. So another level 4, you get yourself a free feat. So this time around, we're going to boost our ability score of strength to 2. Put everything into strength. That's what this build's all about. We got the first, I think, feat. That's not ability improvement at 4. The rest of them, 8 and 12, we're getting +2. Now, every level 4, once again, is the class you're in. So remember that. Now we're at level 9. And there you go. So this is what we get now. Brutal critical. So basically, when you land a critical hit, you will roll extra damage dice as well as the normal additional critical hit one. So when you do a critical hit, you do more damage. So that is very good. Really good. Ding, level 10. We're getting closer to the cap, by the way, which is level 12. And this is what we get. Mighty Impel. So when you throw a creature object that is medium size or smaller, you get to do that. Heavy creatures and objects deal more damage on impact. So you throw something at for instance, another creature, more heavy it is, more damage you do against it. So you throw a medium-sized foe, you do a lot more damage against a small one. I'm just saying. Okay, ding, level 11. And this is what we get. This is a good one. Once per short rest, if your hit points drop to 0 while in rage, you regain 1 HP instead of being down. So you get a hit point. In other words, you're cheating death. This is a good one. You couple it with the half-orc one, it's wonderful. Now, ding, level 12, the last level. And of course, every level 4, this is the last one as well too. You get an extra rage. Ability improvement, put it all in the strength. You should be at cap 20 strength when you level up naturally. There's other ways to go beyond the cap, which I will cover in the next section. That's about it from 2 to 12 for the Giant Barbarian. Let's go there. In Baldur's Gate 3, there are 3 ways to permanently boost your ability score. Some of them you get to choose, others you do not. I'll go over each. In Act 1, spare Auntie Ethel to get a +1 ability score item of your choice. You have to go through some talking checks and you'll be able to pull it off. Now, I'm going to always say this, avoid doing this if you're a certain paladin subclass, so be careful on that. Since you're a Giant Barbarian, no problem with you doing this. Now, Act 2, with the Str OR Con, have him buy Aja in the Moonrise Towers. That's the potion lady. Also, she sells some great and wonderful jewelry. Buy that stuff from her. You'll see why later on. And it's +2 strength. Very important for this character, your main character, to do. Act 3, the Mirror of Loss. So, you gotta pass some checks. And what happens is there's 3 choices. So, if you get real lucky, you get 1 charisma and +2 stats of your choice. You lose -2 stats. However, here's a secret. I'll tell about that in a few moments when we get there. The other choice is +2 stats. Just that. Same with the you gain something, lose something. And if you mess up on the dialogue and the checks, you get nothing. Absolutely nothing. So that's about it. I'm going to go over this time the strength potion, show you the potion lady, who she is, and how it all works. Now, this is the NPC that Asteron bites. So, pass some dialogue with him. A little disapproval, but that's alright. But, you get a +2 strength and the racial one you did donate. So, this is very good. So, for this build, this is absolutely wonderful. So, that +2 strength is great. It'll kick in nicely, even if you respect your character and such like that. I'm going to go ahead and go over to the Mirror of Loss at the House of Grief in Act 3. When you arrive at the House of Grief in Act 3, you're at the Mirror of Loss. So here's the deal. Now you pass some checks. You also pick which stat you want to gain. Also which one you want to lose. They're the same. Don't pick number 7 though. Number 1 is strength. You get +2 strength. Number 2 is +2 dex. Number 3 is +2 constitution. Number 4 is +2 intelligence. Number 5 is +2 wisdom. And number 6 is +2 charisma. For this build, you want to pick +2 strength. So here's the secret on how to bypass the loss. Go ahead and accept the loss. However, since it is a curse, guess what, everyone? Remove curse on the character with the loss. And then that goes bye-bye. You get the game from the Mirror of Loss. That's how you game it. Don't be too greedy, though, when it's option 7, because the Mirror of Loss is going to give you the finger. Now, if you pass the other check with the Charisma one, you get +1. Again, with this build, make sure you get +2 strength. I'm going to go over the before and after stats, so let's go ahead and do that. So, with the ability scores, with this build, I'm going to tell everybody the before and after on the permanent changes. So, before, you should start out with 20 strength. When you level up 1 through 12, dexterity 14, constitution 16, intelligence 8, wisdom 10, and charisma 10. Now after, here we go. Strength 24 due to the fact that you override the 20 initial level up, +2 from the potion, and +2 from the Mirror of Loss. 14 dexterity, constitution 16, 17 if you accept Auntie Ethel's, offer. Intelligence 8, wisdom 10, charisma 10. And that's about it for the permanent stat increases throughout the game. Now, next up are the Tadpole Powers. In Baldur's Gate 3, at some certain point, you're about to go ahead and get some Mind Flayer powers, aka Tadpole Powers. Now, this section will cover before using that Astral Tadpole, and the other one's definitely after. So I'm going to go ahead at this very time. First go with the before, then the after. So here we go for this build. This section will cover the tadpole powers you want before actually consuming the Astral Tadpole. Favorable beginnings, boosts his attack rolls, or give you an advantage in dialogue. So in other words, for this build, it'll help you out with your attack rolls, which is great. Call of the Week, when a creature has few hit points less than your tadpole powers, it dies instantly. So You have 10 Tadpole Powers, and for instance, a goblin has 9 hit points. Next hit, it dies. There you go. See it. I don't want to be you, even if your weapon's 1d8. Psionic Backlash. When a foe casts a spell, you do 1d4 damage per caster level. That is per level, so it does a lot more damage as you level up. Great against casters. Force Tunnel. Charge forwards and draws no attack when you do this. This is like a basic charge attack. No damage. You get to your foe that way. Drain ability. An attack that could either drain strength, melee, or dex range at the first attack. Now, this is absolutely wonderful with this build because you'll weaken foes who are in the front line as well. Strength, if they heavily depend on it, they do less damage against your other characters or yourself. So let's go to the next part. This section will cover when you consume the Astral Tadpole because it'll open up new abilities. Black Hole, OP AoE attack. This thing wrecks a lot of stuff. I used it end game and it got through stuff real quick on normal difficulty. Fly. Gain the ability to fly as you fly around. Great towards end game as well too. I used it on normal / balanced. Repulsor AoE pushback. It does damage as well, so if foes are trying to budge you in too much, you push it back. This is great if it's an emergency. Free cast. Next ability, spells, or anything else is free of charge to use, so if you want to use an extra rage, pop this sucker, and you can use the rage without consuming a rage number. That's about it for Tadpole Powers. Next up is Gear Advice by the end of Act 1. For this part of the build video, going over equipment, I decided to split this into 2 sections like I did, of course, somewhat with my KOTOR 1 and 2 builds. Now, the first section will cover you want gear by the end of Act 1, which is this section. The other section's endgame gear. So for Act 1, you want to make sure before you enter the Shadowlands. So that is it there, because once you enter the Shadowlands, you're technically in Act 2. Now, for endgame gear, that starts with Act 2 until the very end of the game. You want gear by. So I'm going to go ahead and start with the first section in this part of the build. Alright everyone, let's go start with the helms in Act 1. The haste helm gains momentum for 3 rounds. That means you get a little bit more extra movement, which helps you out big time, especially for this class. This is in a locked chest in the Blythe Village in Act 1, where those goblins are at. So pick a rogue or a Str OR Con to go ahead and take care of business to get it. Alternative helm, here's one, Cap of Wrath, Last Stand. This means during combat, when the wearer starts combat with 50% HP or less, they get Wrath for 2 turns. This means boosts a little melee damage, so that's not bad. Thud in the Underdark Grimforge has a either kill him for it, or someone else, of course, kills him, and you get it in Act 1. Let's move on to the next section. Now for chest gear for Act 1, here we go. Blood Guzzler Garb, Grievous Retribution. When an enemy damages the wearer, they get Wrath. That's same as the other thing. A little bit boost in melee damage. The Bullet drops this in Act 1. That's in the Underdark. That is the Land Shark. The one that's underground that pops up like a boss. So be careful fighting it. Here's alternative. Amantite Scale Mail. 16 armor class. All incoming damage is reduced by 1. Cannot be critical hit upon. When a melee attack hits you, the attacker sent reeling for 2 turns. That means they do less damage. At the Amantite Forge in the Underdark, in the Grimforge area in Act 1, you gotta create it, and you gotta defeat Grim for it as well too. So let's move on to the next part, of course. The next set of gear are the gloves. The reasons grasp, ever vigilant. When the wearer chooses to end their rage, they get 15 hit points. This is temporary. This is at the cave where you defeat the gnolls where the Zents are at. So you save the Zents from the gnolls. They leave. You go loot it up. Here's an alternative. You want Gloves of Dexterity. Dexterity is set to 18 automatically. And you get +1 attack. This is at the Githyanki Creche. Now the person actually sells this in Act 1. Among other things, you should buy some stuff from her. Buy before attacking because you will not be able to get this. Gloves of the Growling Underdog. 2 or more foes surround you. You get advantage on melee attacks, which is good. +1 strength saving throws as well. Dor Razglin treasure crates in the Shower Sanctum in Act 1. So you got to defeat Dor for the key, and then you'll be able to open it up. I'm going to go to the next set of equipment, everyone. Next up are the boots. Boots of Speed. When used, your movement speed is double for 1 round, so this is helpful. So if you're like a normal human or something like that, and then your movement speed is normally 9, now it's 18. Pop that sucker, use an extra action, but you know what? That's good enough for you to go ahead and buzz a target. Thella has this item in Act 1. Either do her quest to cure her or convince her to give up those boots. Now, I would advise not giving them up after that, though. Alternatives: boots of genial striding. The wearer's movement speed is unimpeded by difficult terrain, so you get on difficult terrain, nothing happens. Valeric sells this in the Underdark in Act 1. That is the Bugbear Merchant. Buy the Mind Flayer, the friendly one. He is a very good merchant. Buy a lot of things from him. Just trust me. Cloaks, I'm sorry, there's none for Act 1. Necklaces, amulet of branding. Foes get hit with branding spell. Takes double damage and melee damage, of course. So you hit this with them, and then afterwards, you go to town on them. Especially with this build. This is at the Gith Yankee Crash. The same person that sells you the Gloves of Dexterity, she will actually drop this when she dies. So remember that. Here's an alternative one you want: Amulet of Restoration. Getting used to Mass Healing Word and Healing Word. It's like AoE spells. Deirdre's Bone Cloak sells this in the Mushroom People Colony in Underdark Act 1. Yeah, she sells amongst other things as well, too. So definitely go shop at her shop, too. Let's get to the next section for the stuff you want to get by the end of Act 1. Now for some rings, there's some good ones. Crusher's Band, movement speed plus 3 meters. Either steal or loot Crusher to get this in the Goblin Camp in Act 1. If you don't want to steal, and then of course you want to take off the goblins, well, guess what? Great idea to loot this, because you kill Crusher to get it. Caustic Band, you deal plus 2 acid damage to foes when you equip this. Now, the same person that sells alchemy stuff in the Mushroom People Colony in Underdark Act 1 will also sell this as well, too. Like I said, buy her stuff. Alternative rings, here we go. Ring of Absolute Force, use of Thunder Wave, just like the spell. If you're Absolute Branded, you go that route, you deal 1 extra damage. Shards of Thrin in the Grimforge area Underdark in Act 1 has this. The Sparks Wall cannot be electrocuted. Electric resistance increases. This is in the Arcane Tower basement. Underdark in Act 1. It's kind of like a reward reaching there. Let's move on to some more you want to get gear by the end of Act 1, everyone. Sussur's Great Sword. This is a +1 Great Sword. Science target on hit. Great against spellcasters. Remember that. Finish the quest called Finish the Masterwork Weapon side quest by getting the Sussur Bark in the Underdark. Get a plain Great Sword, then combine the two at the Forge in the Blighted Village in Act 1. You get this very nice Great Sword. You want this one. Now, alternatives to Sword of Justice, +1 Great Sword. This will give you Tears Protection, gives the person this buff, +2 armor class. And when you remove the sword, Anders in the Risen Road Toll House drops this. There's a quest that's with Karlach, so if you're Karlach or you want to get Karlach in your party, you gotta kill this MFer. Now here's an alternative one I want to talk about. Everburn Blade is good to have if you did get it by killing Commander Zoc in the prologue. This is not easy to pull off, but this is a good two-handed weapon to start off with. So let's get to the last section of gear you want by the end of Act 1. Now, for this section, ranged weapons are only there if you cannot reach them. They're too far from you with your melee weapon, but you have your ranged weapon to finish them off. Titan String Bow. This is a +1 longbow. This longbow does damage equal to your strength mod, so normal damage is 1 to 8 damage. Then you add either +2 if your strength mod's +2. If your strength mod's +10, you add +10 to it. Bring in the Zentarum Hideout. Sells this in Act 1 after helping out the Zents out on their quest. In other words, you gotta save them from the gnolls. After that, they give you a password. You go to a location they point you to, say the password, you get access to his shop. Bada bing, bada boom, everyone. Alternatives: Giant Breaker, +1 heavy crossbow. Now, foes get -1 attack for 2 rounds when they're hit. Same guy who sells the Titan String Bow in Act 1 sells this as well, too. Bow of the Banshee. This is a +1 short bow. On hit, possibly inflicts Frighten. So when a foe gets a Frighten status, you get another attack. You do 1d6 normal damage. Then you add 1d4 to it because the foe's frightened. So if they're frightened, there's a good bow for it. Kosar Greymon in the Grimforge Underdark area sells this or drops this in Act 1. So that's about it for gear you want to get by in Act 1. So before you enter the Shadowlands, make sure you get all the items I just mentioned. So now let's go ahead and talk about in-game gear. Alright, everyone, a friendly reminder. When it says the act and location, you must make sure you get at that location the said act. If you do not, you might miss out on an item. Make sure you get all the items I'm about to list before the point of no return. You go to point of no return, you cannot get anything else. Let's go with the headgear first. Bone Spike Helmet, Fury of the Morrow. When you rage, hostile creatures in a 3-meter radius must succeed a Wisdom saving throw or else take 2d4 psychotic damage. They make a saving throw, they take half. Intimidation +2, you get automatically. Has menacing attack just like the fighter ability. Hits a target, can frighten a foe. Voiceless Pentant Barrick in the lower city sewer sells this in Act 3. Now here's a good alternative. Horns of the Berserker, Seeking Blood. You gain a +2 bonus attack rolls when you're attacking creatures that take in damage. Bloodthirst, unarmed melee attacks will deal an extra 2 necro damage if you're not at full health. If you do not attack, you will take an extra 1 to 4 damage of that same type of damage. Daith Leon's Dancing Axe, that's the shop, sells this in Act 3. Buy some stuff there too. Let's move on to the next section of endgame gear. Now, next up are cloaks. Flesh Melter Cloak. When wearer gets hit, the attacker takes 1 to 4 acid damage. Gilded Chest in the House of Healing Morgue in Act 2. That's a hidden morgue there, so don't leave the Act 2 area until you get this. Cinder Moth Cloak, attacker takes burning damage, which is 1 to 4 fire damage per round. Ellis Cyrus in the lower city sewers in Act 3 drops this. You got to fight him for it, unfortunately. So let's go talk about more in-game gear up ahead. Alright, everyone, let's talk about chest pieces. Bone Spike Garb, Slapjaw Determination. You get 15 extra temporary hit points when you rage. Exoskeletal Endurance reduces all incoming damage by 2. You take 8 damage initially. Shave it off, you only take 6. When a wearer is struck by a melee attack, the attacker takes Constitution modifier damage. So, for instance, if your Constitution modifier is 10, they take 10 extra damage. If it's 4, they take 4 damage, so on and so forth. Now, this is sold in the Rivington General Store. It is I think it's a Brash Dragonborn trader. You could buy it or steal it from him. I stole it from him, so worth it. Here's alternative. Enraging Heart Guard, +2 Constitution max, so you get +2 Constitution automatically when you equip this. Ruminators, or Tamer's Heart. Sorry about that, I butchered that up. When in rage, you get Wrath for 2 rounds, so you get a little boost in melee damage because of that. Sold by Lantarv at the Moonrise Towers in Act 2. Let's move on to much more endgame gear to get. Now, next up to bat for the gloves is the Gauntlets of Hell Giant Strength. +1 strength saving throw. Strength is set to 23 automatically. Archives at the House of Hope in Act 3 has this. Do not leave it until you get this. Very powerful stuff. Alternatives, Legacy of the Masters. +2 attack and damage rolls with weapons. +1 strength saving throws. Damien's, if he is alive, sells this in Act 3 at the lower city. Let's see what else is next, everyone. Alright, let's talk about the boots. Bone Spike Boots. Brutal Leap. Leaps at target. When you land, you could get them in prone status, so they'll be down for 1 round and they get up. So by then, they waste a turn. Evasive Instinct. +1 AC and saving throws as long as you're not wearing any armor. So in other words, you're wearing cloth, that's fine, but anything like light to heavy, nope. Refined Vaulting. Jump distance increases by 1.5 meters. Western Beach in the Hidden Passage in Act 3. This is by Rivington, by the way. Alternatives, Hellduck's Boots. Cannot be moved by magic or other means. So yeah, in other words, you can't be pushed back. Immune to difficult terrain. So yeah, just like the ranger skill, you could walk in any terrain, no problem, no penalties. When you fail a saving throw, you could use your reaction to succeed instead. Teleports to area, does 2 to 16 fire damage when you do that. Lord Gortash's room in Act 3 has these suckers. So let's see what's next. Alright, let's talk about the necklaces. Amulet of Greater Health. Constitution's automatically set to 23. Advantages on Constitution saving throws when you equip this. In the archives at the House of Hope in Act 3. Where the strength gloves are at, this is where you get those as well. Here's alternative. Sturgeon Subjugation Amulet. When scoring a critical hit on a humanoid target, the wearer can paralyze the target for 2 turns. Malice Storm drops this at the House of Healing in Act 2. You can either fight him for it, or use Shadow Hearts for him to commit suicide, then loot the body. I just gave you a tip on that. Let's go ahead and go over some much more endgame gear. Alright, let's go over the rings. Killer Sweetheart. When you kill a creature, your next attack roll will be a critical hit guarantee automatically. Self-same trial in the Gauntlet Shard in Act 2, so your carbon copy main character has this ring. Do not leave without it. So you're in the Gauntlet Shard, yeah, get it, otherwise you're screwed. Ring of Regeneration. At the start of combat, you regenerate 1 to 4 hit points. Roland sells this in Act 3 at the Sorcerer's Sundries. If Roland ain't there, there's usually a illusion there that'll help you out. Here's nice alternative rings. Ring of Free Action. You know the effects of difficult terrain and cannot be paralyzed or restrained. Aja, that's the Shrink Potion NPC, sells this in Act 2 at Moonrise Towers. I told you before to go check her shop. Well, this is a good reason. Risky Ring. Get advantages on attack rolls, disadvantage on saving throws. Remember that Great Sword feat that is -5 on the attack rolls? Well, this gives you +5 on that. Your saves will suck, but you get more attack rolls. You negate that penalty. Same person that sells the potions and gives you the strength potion will also sell this as well too. Let's go over the weapons. Here's one of my favorite parts, the two-handed weapons. Barbarian's Giant Slayer. On hit, double your strength mod. So if your strength mod is 5, now it's 10 thanks to this weapon. Advantage on creatures large and above. +3. Great Sword, obviously. Giant form is when you do 1d6 extra damage. You get 27 extra hit points temporarily. And you have strength throws advantages. That's strength saving throws, by the way. Drops by the boss of the Wineway Trials in Act 3. I'm not spoiling who the boss is, but you know when you see the boss. Here's alternative. Sword of Chaos. On hit, you generate 1 to 6 hit points +2. Great Sword, looted from you know who in the Murder Tribunal in Act 3. Not saying who, but you should know who has it. Let's go over the ranged weapons. Now, please note these ranged weapons are there for either A, you get the stuff you want on it, or B, if there's any runners. So let's talk about Darkfire Shortbow. +2 Shortbow, gains resistance to fire and ice, can cast haste, so use that. You don't use your potion, use that as well too. You get the effects of haste positive and then definitely negative after haste goes away. Damien sells this in Act 2 if he has that there. If you're really lucky, he also sells this in Act 3. So once you buy the bow, that's it, just one of those. But if he's not there, you killed him off or something like that. Here's alternative. Fabricated Alba Blastus. +2 Heavy Crossbow. Illuminated Shot. Fires a shimmering bolt that inflicts on one turn of Radiant Orb upon the target. This means it deals 1d4 piercing damage. Dazzling Ray. Unleash a beam of brilliant light that blinds all creatures in its path until the spell ends. You can cast this at any time. Cast it at any time, of course. You might take burning damage. Now, this will last 10 turns. On saving throws, targets still take half damage. Now, it deals 2 to 10 radiant damage as well, too. Lord Gortash drops this in Act 3, so if you want to go ahead and kill him, this is the way to go. That's about it for endgame gear. Next up is potions, elixirs, and oils. In this section of the build, I'm going to go ahead and go over suggested potions, oils, and elixirs. Just remember elixirs, if you use one elixir and then use another one, the one that you use recently will get rid of the previous effects. So, for example, if you have an elixir that gives you, I should say, fire resistance, then you use an elixir, Cloud Giant Strength, you get the 27 strength, and that fire resistance goes away. So let's go over the potions first. As always, this is most important. Healing potions of all types are a must because you're going to need to get healed up from time to time. Potion of Haste gains extra action, +2 AC, advantage on dexterity saving throws, and double movement speed. When that wears off, then you get negative effects of that, so be careful. Potion of Flying, same as the Fly spell. Honorable mention, look for a potion of vaulting, so this way you jump farther. Now, let's go over elixirs. Alright, everyone, let's go over elixirs. Now, this one's elixirs of vigilance, gain +5 bonus to initiative, and cannot be surprised. This is good to have until you get the Barbarian skill, then you don't need it anymore to use. Elixir of Colossus, increased size, gains strength saves and advantages, and does 1d4 weapon damage. Plus, you jump pretty far, too. Elixirs of Viciousness, decrease your chance to land a critical hit, so instead of a dice roll, usually 20, and now it's 19 and 20 on the dice roll for you to get a critical hit. Elixir of Cloud Giant Strength, set your strength to 27. Must have Elixir Bloodlust. Upon killing your foes, you get 5 extra hit points temporarily and extra bonus action, which is very nice. It's an underdog one. People should use it. Now let's go over oils. As for oils, you use it to coat your weapons. Since you're a frontline fighter, it's going to be useful for you. Oils of accuracy, bonus of +2 in attack rolls, so this is great. It'll negate some of that penalty early on. Wizard's Bane oil, its target receives a penalty of -3 to spell attack rolls and spell saving DCs, and disadvantage on saving throws for maintaining concentration for 2 turns. Annoying wizard wants to cast a spell, you put Wizard Bane oil on your weapon, you hit them with it, they're going to have a hard time maintaining the spells and even casting it. Yeah, they might fumble it, which gives you advantage of being down, or in fact killing them. Any poisons you could get your hands on as well for last-ditch effort, I should say, so good idea to coat your weapons with poison. Take advantage of that too. That's it for potions, elixirs, and oils. So next part we're doing is the combat test. So when you do start out, things might get tough for you. Do take advantage of throwing objects, throwing enemies upon other enemies. Also take advantage of using enemies as weapons as well too. If you can get in front of your enemies and hit them very hard, that is great as well too. Now things are starting to definitely look up when you get the 2 attacks per round, and definitely when you get to, I think it was level 6 or 7 to get Elemental Cleave. Elemental Cleave is the key to victory. You won't get it now, but later on, oh, you will. So things might be tough, but use that time to develop some tactics and kick some serious butt. I'm going to go over to Act 3 to show you what happens when your characters are maxed out in levels and has all the tools that he or she needs. Now, for Act 3, yeah, you'll be facing tougher foes. However, you're going to have some serious advantages. By then, you have your 2 attacks per round. Your rage gets better, you do more damage, you find better weapons, and you abuse the living heck out of a giant rage and elemental cleave. Yeah, that's right, folks. You'll be starting 1-shotting, 2-shotting foes instantly, sometimes 3-shot like foes like this. And if you cannot, at least you'll soften them to the point where they're about to die, then your party members will definitely finish them off. So yeah, see there with Karlach, she's about to really kick some serious booty. So I'm going to go ahead and try to move her out of the way. Yeah, I'll take some damage, but that's fine. Even if I take damage, yeah, I get some other buffs and such. So the elemental, I should say the Steel Watcher is already taken damage. I did some extra damage as well, which does include, you guessed it, electric damage. In fact, with Elemental Cleave, know what type of foes you are facing and know what type of damage you get to do against them. So because Karlach decided to shave off half of the foe's hit points and such, well, guess what? Yeah, they're about to die horribly. I'm going to try to see if I can finish them off or just let them blow up itself. But still, you're going to kill your foes, or you're going to weaken them enough so your other allies, or I should say party members, should finish them off for good. Let's go over some final advice, shall we? Now, here's some final advice before I do go. Just remember the races I did pick. I like the Zariel Tieflings and the Half-Orcs for this build. Now, if you want to go unconventional races, you could do that as well, too. Definitely try not to go for any heavy armor, because, yeah, your rage is not going to work at all because of that. Definitely know what to use. Rage often if you need to. It'll help out big time. And if there's small foes in the way, take them out quickly, so this way you get extra attack. Take another set of small foes or weak foes. Know what type of foes' weaknesses are, so this way you exploit it with Elemental Cleave. Remember, you're a frontline fighter, so you always go in the front, you always attack, you always do a lot of damage, and you can wreck things big time. Just remember my equipment advice, especially the potions, elixir, and oil, so this way you know what you're doing. Do take advantage of Tadpole Powers and any of those permanent stat increases as well, too. This is it for my Baldur's Gate 3 Pure Giant Barbarian build video. This is Lord Fenton signing off. Thanks for watching, everyone. Have a great day or night. Do please stay safe. Please subscribe to my channel for more classic and modern Dungeons & Dragons walkthroughs, builds, guides, and more just like this. If you like what you see, then go ahead and pick my suggestion on the upper left-hand corner or YouTube suggestion on the bottom left-hand corner. I'm going to go ahead and relax in this nice chair.